Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by our International Affairs Editor, Kethevane Gorjestani. Hi, Kethevane. The Houthis, the latest entity to join this conflict 1 month after the start of the war. Why now, and just how significant is this development?
Well, look, first of all, there's the sort of symbolic moment of 1 month of war that we can put into the reasoning behind getting into it right now. But the reason why we were wondering why the Houthis haven't gone in before is because we saw the likes of Hezbollah, for example, get involved much quicker. And there is sort of this general idea that we talk about Iran's proxies and we include the Houthis along the likes of Hezbollah and Hamas, but they're not exactly the same type of Iran-aligned group than Hezbollah or Hamas. Yes, they do get funding, they do get weapons, training from Iran. Yes, they are aligned generally politically and ideologically with the Iranians, but they're a little bit more detached, more independent, if you will, than a group like Hezbollah. They don't necessarily, the Houthis, take direction as quickly and as directly from the likes of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps or the supreme leader, the way Hezbollah is in very direct coordination with the Iranians. So that could explain why the Houthis decided to come into the game, if you will, at a time of their choosing. The other thing is that their entry into this war could be coming in at a time where it causes maximum disruption. First of all, when it comes to Israel, Israel is already fighting two fronts. Iran, of course, but also Lebanon. And now the Houthis are opening a third front while the Israelis are already fighting on two. And the most important part could be coming up in the next days or weeks. The fact that when you see the closure of the Strait of Hormuz by the Iranians, that means that shipping lanes, oil trade, global trade is being heavily disrupted. And part of that is being diverted to the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, which is a strait that is on the coast of Yemen, as we see there on that map. It leads to the Red Sea, which leads to the Suez Canal, which leads to the Mediterranean. And that could be something that the Houthis start targeting the way they did start targeting that after the October 7th, 2023 attacks. And if they jump into that strait, that would be two very critical straits blocked at the same time. And that could be dramatic for a global trade.
Meanwhile, Kethevane, Iran does continue to fire missiles and drones at Israel, also Gulf nations, of course. That despite the US insisting still that they've crippled Iran's military capabilities.
Absolutely. And the latest US media reporting on those US troops that were injured in that strike on a base, Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia on Friday, 2 seriously injured. That Saudi Air Base, apparently, according to US media reports, had already been struck earlier in the week. They're now reporting they were struck, it seems, by missiles and drones, and not only were there personnel injuries, but also there were at least 2 refueling aircraft that were damaged in those strikes. Over the past month, for U.S. troops, you have had 13 U.S. troops who have died in this war, 7 as the result of hostile fire, 6 in a plane crash. And the Pentagon tally now of injured troops is more than 300. Most of these troops have since returned to duty with very light injuries, but at least 10 of them remain seriously hurt. And that is a problem, of course, for the U.S. president. But what these strikes really do show is that despite the relentless strikes by the U.S. Army, by the Israeli Army, despite the repeated comments by the U.S., by the Israelis, that they've decimated Iran's military capabilities, Iran still has a sizable arsenal. Iran still is able to strike all across the Middle East. It can still target Gulf states, still target U.S. interests, still target Israel. And so far, they are not stopping, despite what the U.S. and the Israelis are saying.
Kethevane Gorjestani, thank you very much.